So, Brian, thank you so much for taking the time. I know hockey may be during the cold months, but really it never ends, even right into the summer months. And you spent 2 weeks in Switzerland for the World Championships. What are your overall impressions so far of Team USA? And, of course, your NHL head coach, the head coach there, too.
Well, I think we're very young. I think our team is a microcosm of what we're going to be in Vancouver with the Olympic team. We'll be the youngest team in the field. We were here. Our talent pool continues to grow in the U.S. every year, but it's still shallow in comparison to a Canada or a Russia. I think of the 14 teams that missed the playoffs, I think there were 28 American players, so about 2 per team. Half of those guys were hurt, so we really only had 14 NHL players to start with over there. But our team has worked really hard. I'm proud of them. They get along well, and they work hard, and the coach has done a nice job.
So, unfortunately, though, you're in different parts, so you didn't really get to see any live games for Canada where a lot of players who play for the Leafs are on there. But you did manage to catch a few games. What do you think of their performance there?
Well, they're steamrolling through the tournament. They had a little, blip in the road there against the Finns, but Canada has manhandled everybody they've played. And I think a lot of people they say, well, if they play Hungary or Austria, that they should steamroll them, but a lot of those national teams that you see over there have played anywhere from 5 to 20 games before the North American teams get off the plane. And so it's hard. And Canada's done a real good job. I've seen highlights of a lot of their games and parts of their games live, and they got a good team.
Throughout the entire NHL season, the limelight never really left Luke Schenn. So here he is still playing. Do you keep an eye on him? Do you continue to monitor his progress? And obviously not really let him loose because he's not exactly a veteran just yet.
No, he's... I've kept in touch with the management team of the Canadian team, with Doug Armstrong mostly, and he went over as the 7. He went over in the 7 hole. His ice time reflects that. Luke has not played certainly as much as he'd like to or as much as I'd like him to. But I think for a young player to be asked to go and soak up that atmosphere and learn to play on the big sheet, the ice surface is quite a bit bigger. I think it's going to end up being a real positive experience for Luke, even though right now he's probably chomping at the bit that he's not playing more.
Are you impressed, though, with him, how he mentally deals with the game, how he mentally deals with the pressure?
Luke Schenn is going to be one of those players that I wish I could take credit for drafting. When you're a GM, you draft young players and you watch them develop with pride, and he's going to be one that I wish I could say I drafted him instead of Cliff drafting him. I think he's got everything you need to be a real solid NHL player. He's got a good mental approach. He's tough enough. He's a smart hockey player, and he's got leadership skills. I think he's just going to get better.
Now, just some other news coming out of the World Championships. Ian White flying back, saying he has a sore neck. Any updates there?
No, just what you said, Andy. He's got a sore neck. He thinks he hurt it in a couple games ago, and it's just been a residual thing, and he's developed concussion-like symptoms. He's got headaches, some dizziness. My prediction would be that Whitey has those things all the time anyhow. But he is flying back as a precaution. We think he'll be okay, but there's no sense risking any type of head injury in a tournament like that.
So there's a lot of names in this tournament that Leafs fans know. They play on the big squad, but there's also 3 prospects. Have you been able to keep an eye on them and monitor their assessment in this championship tournament?
First off, the guys that are there with Hagman and Grabowski and that group. The other guys, Stefanovic, I guess you're talking about, and Gunnarsson. I saw Gunnarsson play. I thought he had a real good game against the U.S., even though the U.S. outplayed them badly. I have not seen Stefanovic play. Mikus, I haven't seen him play.
There's obviously one person that you're keeping an eye on, and that is a goalie in Gustafsson. What are the updates there, the progress, and perhaps signing him?
I don't know how to handicap that one. I have met with his agent. I flew over and met with his agent before the tournament. I met with the player, with Jonas, and the agent again in Bern in Switzerland. We've made it clear that we'd like to sign this player, but that we have not been able to seal that deal yet. And there's a number of other teams involved. And what I cannot control is what other teams promise a player or offer a player. Not financially, because this player's in the entry-level system. So the money's going to be the same wherever he goes. But as far as opportunity, we've made what we think is a realistic proposal to him as far as where he might fit in. But I can't control what other teams are offering. I'm saying they come right in and start or do whatever. So I don't know yet what our chances are.
So obviously to build this team, the Leafs for next season, I mean, you do look outside, but internally, I mean, you had a chance as well to watch the Marlies in their playoffs. So what did you like about their performance and perhaps some of the young guys that you brought on board? And you got to see him. Stallberg got to play in his first game, AHL game as well.
Well, Stallberg is a guy that might surprise people. He had a really good year at Vermont. He's a big kid who can really skate. You know, the average big forward has trouble skating. You know, he kind of lumbers around. This kid gets around the rink really well. So we were impressed with him. So that's a positive thing. As far as Alex Berry went in there, played some regular season games, did not see much playoff action himself, but another big kid who can skate. As far as the kids, I went in for the first game in Manitoba, and Justin Pogge played a real strong game, but he struggled a bit after that at times, so not sure there. And then some of the other kids, you know, Anton Strawman played well for me when I was there. So there's some positives. You know, there's some building blocks that have been put in place before I got here. I think it's fashionable in our industry not to give credit for things that were done before you got there and try and grab all the credit when your team gets better. But there are some players there that I think are going to help us. And just on the big club, I really like the development of some of the young kids on the big club.
And already preparing for the draft, that's not too far away right now. Is there anything you can share with us there, the game plan and that?
No, well, our game plan, we were very vocal about it. I don't think I'll be able to sneak up on anyone at the draft, so we were very vocal about it. We are going to attempt to move up. We have specific interest in Jonathan Tavares. We've made that clear, and we'll see where it goes.
Excited then for training camp?
Yeah, I feel very grateful to have this opportunity to work in Toronto. My wife and I love the city, and we feel just very blessed to be here and have this chance. And yeah, I think we finished off with some positive things, and now we got to just keep building on that.